If you like to talk about combat sports and you want to join the discussion, click the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon next to it and join Knucklehead Nation. What's going on, Knuckleheads? Welcome back to the FightersRep video podcast. I am your host, the FightersRep, and right now we're going to be talking about the Danny Garcia versus Ivan Redkach fight. This is our post-fight reaction discussion. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the forum. If it's your first time here, hit that subscribe button, the bell notification icon, and I hope you join us. You know, Knuckleheads, nothing really special about this fight. A stay busy fight for Danny Swift Garcia. I was expecting Danny Swift Garcia to actually get Ivan Redkach out of there in this fight. It looked like around the 7th or 8th round, he started really landing some bombs. I thought for sure he'd get Redkach out of there, who's, you know, at this point, a C-level fighter. You know, not a guy who belongs in the ring with a guy like Danny Garcia, not a guy who will ever be able to belong in a ring with Danny Garcia. He was obviously brought into this thing just to keep Danny Garcia on ice, if you know what I mean, or to keep him warm, if you prefer that. Just a body for Danny Garcia to kind of punch around until he gets his next big fight, which they're talking about. It might be Errol Spence, it might be Manny Pacquiao, could be Mikey Garcia. We could be talking about a rematch with Keith Thurman. Several options for Danny Garcia moving forward. And I'm sorry I went late a little bit live because I wanted to watch that Chris Cyborg fight that just ended against Julie Budd, where she also got the knockout. Looks like she got it in the 4th round. She got the technical knockout. But back to the issue at hand, Danny Garcia making easy work of Ivan Redkach. You know, I actually thought that this was a very easy fight for Danny Garcia. He didn't look to put forth a lot of effort in this fight, but what I did notice was, in the last 3 or 4 rounds, Redkach started landing a hard left hand to the body, and I say left hand because it looks like Danny Garcia is just getting ready for, you know, a southpaw opponent, if it's, you know, Errol Spence or Manny Pacquiao, whoever he's fighting next. And that's probably why he called Redkach in. But a guy with no sort of boxing acumen that could even be compared to those two guys, but nonetheless a southpaw. And, you know, I noticed that Redkach was landing the left to the body over and over again. That's something that Danny Garcia is going to have to address going forward, because Redkach, you know, was basically a punching bag in there in the second half of the fight until about that 8th or 9th round when he started landing that left hand to the body, and it made Danny Garcia a little bit weary, and it looked like it actually, you know, got to him a couple times. And I won't go as far as to say that he hurt him with it, but it was definitely bothering Danny Garcia. And if he goes in there with a guy who could really punch, you know, we could see Danny Garcia actually get hurt to the body if he's, you know, fighting a guy with a pretty good left hand, a strong guy like Manny Pacquiao or Errol Spence, and if they decide to go to the body. So, you know, I guess Danny Garcia gets some experience points for this fight, but I didn't really see, you know, anything special about this fight. It's the same old Danny Garcia that we've always seen. You know, he kind of just, you know, for lack of a better word, you know, catches and shoots these counter hooks, and that's what he's kind of banking on winning the fight off of. He's got decent boxing. Of course, you can't really talk about his boxing much in a fight like this because, you know, Redkach is just not that good of a boxer for Danny Garcia to really be, you know, pushed to his limits. So, you know, we didn't really learn a lot from this fight. This fight just keeps Danny Garcia busy, and I'm interested to see who he's going to be fighting coming up next. Sorry if I look like a slob here, knuckleheads. But, let's see who we've got in the chat. Before we do that, I want to go ahead and give everybody a heads up. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We go live to talk about combat sports, especially boxing and MMA. And we go live immediately after all the fights. So, that's why we're live right now. There was the Danny Garcia versus Ivan Redkach fight. There was also a UFC card on tonight and a Bellator card. So if you guys want to chime in and talk about that, you're more than welcome to do so. This is the forum that lets you talk about whatever you want to talk about as long as it's combat sports related and relevant. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon. And keep an eye out for FightersRep 9. It's our own kickboxing promotion, the only kickboxing promotion in the state of California. That's going down February 28th. We've got 16 fights lined up right now. So obviously that could always change, but something we're very excited about. So Muay Thai 23, my brother's in here, and pound for pound boxing 510. Thank you guys for joining us. Much appreciated. Pound for pound boxing says, what's up, bro? What's up? Right back to you, my brother. Not only salute, but salud. Salud is what I'm going to say, my man. Hope you guys are enjoying your little drink or your little whatever else you do on this lovely Saturday night. And Muay Thai 23 saying Chris Cyborg versus Triple G. That would be entertaining on some level, I'm sure. But, I don't think too many athletic commissions will approve that. Although, who knows? And then he says Muay Thai, and then Muay Thai 23 says, Cyborg gets it done in the first round. Pound for pound boxes 510 said, what's up, bro? What's up? Right back to you. Muay Thai, we're going to skip that comment there that you just left there. One thing I wanted to mention to you guys is that two guys fought today. Cheers to you, brother. Thank you. I'm coach now. Thank you. One thing I wanted to mention to you guys is there were two guys on the Danny Garcia card tonight named Swift. Neither one of them were very swift. I thought that was a little bit weird. We had Jarrett Hurd on the other card fighting a guy named Francisco Chia Santana. Looked, to have the frame of a prepubescent teenager, basically, compared to that of Jarrett Hurd, who's freaking 6 feet tall, despite being a super welterweight. I'm really not sure how they would even allow somebody that big and somebody in that kind of skill discrepancy to compete. But nonetheless, I want to get into that a bit. Hurd looked like, I don't know. I'm almost hesitant to say it. Hurd looked like damaged goods in there today. Let me know what you guys think about that. I mean, Hurd kind of worried me. The way he reacted to the punches that he was catching and the way that he was fighting. Toothless is asking who won, Toothless or Toothles or Tooth L3S. It was Danny Garcia by decision, a very dominant, broad decision. There was no kind of competition there at all. I mean, basically a shutout, if you ask me. So, but yeah, I mean, back to Jarrett Hurd. To me, Jarrett Hurd tonight looked like a kind of, I hate to say it, a guy who may have taken a little bit too much damage in his last fight. He just didn't look stable every time he got hit by a guy tonight who's not really a powerful guy. I mean, he looked like damaged goods to me, and it's very sad because he's a very big, strong guy. I think, it was either the punishment he took in that J. Rock Williams fight, perhaps he's still not over it, or he's cutting too much weight still, and his body's just not able to absorb the punishment that it should be absorbing with his frame. I mean, I don't know. He's looking a little bit fragile, and also he just didn't look great. He looked like he was getting hit over and over again by this guy who's just, kind of a brawler, for lack of a better word. So, and not a very strong brawler. So, I mean, it was worrisome. It was worrisome for me to watch Jarrett Hurd. D-Boy65, what up, my brother? Thank you for joining the chat. John Wick, my brother Jamaican, is in here. David Rivera is in here. Salud, cheers, my brothers. D-Boy65 says, I think Errol Spence beats Danny Garcia. I think that you are absolutely right on that one. I think Errol Spence really beats Danny Garcia. I mean, I don't know, even coming out of a Ferrari flipping 15 times, he beats Danny Garcia. I didn't see anything special out of Danny Garcia tonight, man. Danny Garcia hasn't shown any new wrinkles, even though the broadcasters were saying he has, or he did tonight. This was the same old Danny Garcia. Nothing special, man. And if he goes in there against the best guys in the division, I think he loses a decision to all of them. I mean, he has got the chance of winning. Of course, it's a boxing fight, and he does hit hard. But I don't see him beating Porter. I don't see him beating Spence. He's got a shot against Thurman because we don't know where he's at. But, Danny Garcia is not looking, obviously, anywhere near the way he did in his prime, and just looked whatever tonight, just looked whatever. John Wick says Cyborg destroyed Julia Budd 4-round stoppage. I did see that. I credit to Julia Budd. She really, stood in there and took a bunch of shots, and I thought, she was toughing it out. I thought maybe in the latter part of the fight she might come back a bit, but, she got overwhelmed. She just got overwhelmed. She got hit with a body shot, I think it was. That was the straw that kind of broke the camel's back, and then, Cyborg just finished her off. Jamaican, or rather D-Boy65 says, Jarrett Hurd didn't even look impressive. I agree with that. That's what we were just talking about. Jarrett Hurd, man, looked a little bit fragile, looked like damaged goods. Didn't look good offensively. Didn't seem like he was taking a good punch tonight. It was concerning to watch. It was concerning to watch. I was thinking to myself, did this guy, suffer a concussion during training, a la Anthony Joshua? Is this guy damaged goods? What's going on with this guy? It was sad to watch. Salud, by the way, you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying your Saturday night. It's not salute, it's salud. That's what we say in this chat, brothers. Let's see here. Jamaican says, no way Danny beats Spence nor Crawford. I agree with that 1,000%. Danny Garcia, there's no way he beats Spencer Crawford. And he probably needs to stay away from those two guys. But, if he wants to take on that challenge, I'll watch. But I think we all know the results to that one. David Rivera says, were you watching the boxing fights over the MMA matches? I was flipping back and forth watching everything. John Wick says Cyborg looked perfect tonight. I mean, she looked good. She did look good. But, she's the champion in Bellator. And, Bellator's still sort of playing second fiddle to the UFC. So, I mean, I wish she would have stuck around in the UFC, try to get back with Amanda Nunes, try to get that fight going again, but it didn't happen. By the way, Knuckleheads, there's at least 15 of you in here right now. Hit that like button, the bell notification icon. Show some love if you're watching on the replay. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about the chat. It would be much appreciated. And of course, if you donate anything to the channel or get your FightersRep shirts or hoodies or whatever in the links below, you help me continue to build our promotion, which is the only kickboxing promotion in the entire state of California. John Wick, or rather Jamaican, says Hurd is damaged goods. So Jamaican seems to agree with me that Jarrett Hurd is looking like damaged goods, and I'd really like to know what's going on there because, I mean, I thought, are my eyes deceiving me? Is it the whiskey goggles I'm looking through? I mean, why does Hurd look like he's being affected by these punches from this guy who looks like, he should be teaching PE at the local middle school. I mean, I don't get it. And the guy was way smaller than him, much shorter reach, just not a good boxer. I mean, you could tell by the way the guy fights. I mean, he's a tough guy. He's sort of tough, but not the. I mean, the level of competition between what he dealt with last time against Julian Williams and this guy tonight, Chia, whatever his name was. Chia, it was a big difference, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned for Jarrett Hurd, man. I really think he needs to go up to middleweight or do something else, because I don't think this weight cut is agreeing with his brain. He's just not able to take the shots like I think he used to. Hurd, this is from Pound for Pound Boxing 510, says Hurd is stronger than Santana. I think he didn't want to brawl with Santana. Why not just get him out of there, though? I didn't get it, man. I didn't get it. I mean, I just thought he could end that fight. The old Jarrett Hurd, at least, would have ended that fight, at any time. He just didn't look like the same guy. Jamaican says, I think Bud and Errol stops Danny Garcia, They may stop him, or they may go to a decision. If that happens. Sorry, somebody just texted me something annoying. Let's see here. Jamaican, or rather John Wick says, salute. I wish I could drink. John Wick, what's wrong with you? Why can't you drink, brother? I'll drink on your behalf. Jamaican says, pound for pound boxing, salute. Hey, salute. Put a D at the end of that thing, guys. D-Boy 69. Hey, put some D's on it, guys. Put some D's on it. D-Boy 65 says Danny already lost to Porter and Thurman. For sure. I mean, I don't see him coming back better and beating those guys. Pound for pound boxing 510. Saluting Jamaican. David Rivera says, John Wick, I did the same thing with UFC and Bellator fights. Ha. John Wick says, Thurman is done boxing like Broner. Manny made them both retire. John Wick says, David Rivera is the best thing to do. I've watched both, one on the phone, one on TV. Okay, so one of these guys were watching the fight simultaneously on the phone and on their TV. Pound for pound boxing 510 says, I didn't get a chance to watch Cyborg fight. How did she do? She did good. She basically beat down Julie Budd and got the finish in the fourth round, the TKO stoppage. I mean, basically got her up against the cage and just made her crumble under, an avalanche of strikes. And just, Julie Budd just couldn't do anything about it. John Wick says Dana White didn't want that fight to happen. Cyborg wanted that fight badly, but you know how it goes. I don't understand. I don't understand why that fight wouldn't happen. I don't get that. David Rivera says, hey, brother, I'll be fighting this coming Friday. It'll be live on UFC Fight Pass if you want to tune in. So, David, I'm assuming you're fighting for LFA? Is that what's happening? Feel free to confirm. Muay Thai 23 says, hi, David. Hope you get sparked in the first round, bro. That's fucked up, man. Pound for pound boxing fight test is good luck, David Rivera. Thank you. Good luck to you, David. I tried getting you a fight for, by the way, if you guys don't know, David Rivera is an amateur fighter out here in California, a talented one. Doesn't always make the best decisions. Tried getting him a good fight for February 28th, but, he didn't want to wear the shin guards and the headgear against a less experienced, albeit undefeated opponent. A fight that I think David Rivera should have taken against, again, a guy that's undefeated out of Black House MMA, but you can only take the horse to water. You can't make it drink whiskey. And so that's all I've got to say about that. But I'm glad, you have a fight for LFA. I think perhaps you're more into MMA, even though I'm trying to get you on board to this kickboxing stuff. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds, you know. And the promotion's always open to you. Again, if I was your advisor, which I'm not, you'd fight for LFA and then come fight for me in February. But I'm at capacity at this point, so I couldn't even have you on if I wanted to. But I do think you should stay active and get some striking fights in. I think it's just going to help you. So, yeah, you know, back to this Danny Garcia thing, man. Jarrett Hurd and Danny Garcia, both nicknamed Swift. Neither one that swift, if I'm being honest with you guys. I'm not impressed by the athleticism of either guy tonight. You know, I'm typically not that impressed with Danny Garcia's athleticism ever. I do think he hits hard. I like the fact that he does the catch and shoot, you know. I think he throws, you know, some powerful blows, but not great on his feet. And Jarrett Hurd, also a bit more of a slugger that does a little bit of boxing, but just didn't look great tonight. And Champ is here. Thank you for being in the chat, Champ. Hit that bell notification icon, subscribe button. Danny Garcia won tonight, as did Curtis Blades in the UFC. And we also had Cyborg beating Julie Budd tonight by TKO in the 4th round. So that's what happened tonight. Pound for pound boxing is here, laughing out loud. I'm not sure what you're laughing at, brother, but it's probably, you know, what I'm telling these young tigers in this chat. These young tigers. Muay Thai 23 says jokes, bro. Good luck. Wow. Muay Thai 23 showing some sympathy. I'm proud of you, my man. I'm proud of you. Hey, Slanche, Muay Thai 23. I know you're out in Ireland. I learned this when I used to go to Bennigan's down in Miami before they shut it down. Slanche, brother. Thank you guys for joining the chat. It's much appreciated. So, I don't know. Where does Danny Garcia go from here? I mean, I think Danny Garcia should just go for the big money fights. I don't really see him being able to beat the best in the division. If I was him, I would go for that Manny Pacquiao fight. Seeing as how Manny is now, you know, a little bit later on in his life as a boxer. So, you know, perhaps land that big money fight or land as many big money fights as he can before he rides off into the sunset. I feel like Danny Garcia is one of those guys that peaked a little bit early. I mean, he probably has been fighting for a very long time since he was a kid, so he's probably burned out from the sport. But, you know, that's what I would do if I was him. I mean, I would just go after the lucrative fights. And if I'm Jarrett Hurd, I'm gaining weight. I'm moving up to junior middleweight or something, middleweight. That guy at 6 feet tall has no business cutting down a super welterweight. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, his head is as big as mine. And, you know, I'm a heavyweight, so he needs to move up. Muay Thai 23 says Slanche, coach. Am I saying it right? Muay Thai 23 is it Slanche or Slanche? I mean, it sounds very French, but I guess that's like Gaelic or Celtic or whatever, you know, they used to speak there before they started speaking English. Feel free to give me the lowdown on that. Pound for pound boxing says Cherry Garcia. Cherry Garcia is right. Fight Life Nation says, how was the fight? You know, Marco, the fight was, it was whatever. You know, it was expected. I did actually think that Danny Garcia would finish this fight, but that didn't happen. He didn't look so great. Again, I would have expected him to finish a guy like Ivan Redkach, but he just doesn't have... I don't know, he just didn't have that killer instinct. Maybe he was just trying to get some rounds in. I don't know what happened there, you know. But either way, it's a fun, it's a fun fight, and it was an okay fight. I was expecting the knockout, but you can't always get what you want. Let's see here. So D-Boy65 is asking me, what are your thoughts on Canelo fighting Ryota Murata in Japan? I think it's a very lopsided, easy fight for Canelo. If it's going to be a middleweight especially, I don't think it's a great fight for Ryota. I don't think really, many people can beat Canelo as it is, especially not a guy that's, 16-2, who, lost, didn't lose his last fight or the one before, but lost the one before that against a guy who, he fought in his 17th fight. It's like he lost to the guy, and then they rematched, and he won, and then he got another win. So he's got 2 wins in a row. Both of them are in Japan. The loss he had was in the United States. So I guess he feels like he's more comfortable fighting in Japan, although he has lost in Japan. He actually lost a split decision in Japan to Hassan Ndam, and that's not somebody you want to be losing to. Even though he's tough, that's not somebody you want to be losing to if you're planning on fighting Canelo. So I think it's absolutely insane that Canelo's actually going to fight this guy, and this guy would accept a fight against Canelo. Although, it's so much money on the line, I guess anybody would accept that fight. Pound for Pound Boxing says, I don't know. Hurd didn't look right. Maybe I'm tripping. No, dude, I agree with you 100%, man. Jarrett Hurd just looked like a mess in there today. He didn't look good at all, man. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I was worried. I said to myself, there's something wrong with him. Is this a person that's been permanently damaged by his most recent fight? Is this a guy that's going to be able to continue fighting at a high level? Is this a guy who's dealing with, a weight cut issue? What is happening here? Is it a combination of things? Who knows, man? Pound for Pound Boxing 510 says Canelo needs to fight Charlo or Boo Boo. Facts, and I couldn't agree more with those facts. Canelo has no business in there with guys that are not going to further his legacy. And the guys that are going to further his legacy, are the Charlo, is Charlo and it is Boo Boo Andrade and guys like that. Maybe even a third fight with Triple G, although, he's fought, he's fought Triple G so many times, he's about to get, 5G service at his house. I know you guys like that one. I just came up with that one. That's the whiskey talking. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't need to be fighting Ryota Murata. Not at all. That's ridiculous. Golden Boy offered Charlo 10 to 12 million to fight Canelo, but turned it down. His team wanted 20 million. Man, that's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. Who are you to ask for that kind of money? If I was him, I don't know. I got nothing to say there. I don't think he'll ever make anything even close to that. He's just not that big of a star yet. May never be that big of a star. But I guess, he doesn't want to sell himself too short in a Canelo fight. But, to ask for double, that's a little bit of a joke. H. Sank V says, someone is sleepy. Sure am, brother. And, appreciate you guys being on the chat. That said, I'm just going to keep it short with you guys today. Going to finish this whiskey. Much appreciated for you guys joining the chat. Those are my thoughts on the Garcia Ivan Redkach.
I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Who does Garcia fight next? What happens to Jarrett Hurd, who looked extremely, hurt? It looked like damaged goods in there. Looked compromised. So tell me what you guys think about that. If I don't hear from you, I'll catch you guys either tomorrow for Anxiety Sunday, or if I decide to go on tomorrow, but for sure Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, and immediately after the big fights. Anyway, Knuckleheads, thank you guys for joining the chat. We will talk soon. Slanche, salud, and keep it clean, Knuckleheads. I'm out.